few days, who cares? It doesn't matter. I've sacrificed years for fun. I mean, for fun, not even for the Giants winning.
Totally.
I'm more of a quality over quantity guy.
Who needs to live till 65 anyway? We're fine. It's been a good run.
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? It's Chris Sims. It's Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Ahmed Fareed is here. Week 4 is almost in the books. We got a few left, but it's Sunday night. It's late night. My man's here traveling in from Big Ten country once again. What's up, everybody? It's Chris Sims. Welcome. This is sponsored by Lowe's.
Thank you, Lowe's.
Okay. And Lowe's, they know home improvement.
They do know home improvement.
I mean, way better than I do. That's for sure.
So this is Chris.
I know quality.
Yes, you know quality.
Yeah.
I am fearful that I'm getting neither.
Well,
that I will get neither quality nor quantity.
Well, since you're back to your energy drinks over here, you're obviously going back to the quality life. You
It's
said,
been
the hell
too
with this
busy.
80 years of life. I just want 74.
Too much driving. 'Cause I drove to Penn State because it's just getting there in the flights and you got to connect and it's a mess.
Yes,
so let me
yes.
drive, which is a
Okay.
great idea until you're doing it.
Until you're on the way back home. And
Yes,
you're like,
and you're like,
damn, I got
I don't
4
want
more
to.
hours to get home.
I don't want to do this
that's
anymore.
That's a long, long drive.
That's okay. So I needed it.
So what's your line of demarcation before we dive into the games here and start telling everybody what happened?
Yeah.
Like, what's your line of demarcation for, like, quality and quantity, right? Like, I was thinking about that. Like, 65, you referenced, I don't want to die at 65.
No, I don't either.
But, like, if I had to sacrifice, like, 85 for 80 for quality and fun, I would do it.
What if you could tell me what my 70-year-old self looks like?
Well,
Like,
then
what am I doing?
You would judge it then.
Yeah, like
I know.
Let me take a look at
But
it.
man, I know a lot of 70-year-olds that just aren't that 70, right? So I don't want to go that early, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to push it closer to 80, but I'm not gonna sacrifice my quality for it.
I think having kids, right? We want to see them grow old
see the
as
grandkids,
well.
right.
But if they don't turn out, then what do I got? I got nothing to live for. I'll drink more of these. So we do have the promise to you each and every time we do this. That is Chris Sims. I am Ahmed Fareed. If we put our Twitter handles up there, I no longer have one.
Yeah, good
by the
for
way.
you.
I
You're
got
like
rid
my
of it.
new idol.
It's
I
gone.
mean,
Thank
really.
you.
I mean, there's a lot of me that would love that, to get rid of Twitter, not have to deal with some of the hatred on there. But it also is very useful for my life, so I can't totally get rid of it.
Oh, that's
One,
fair,
I needed to get some of my thoughts out. 2, I do find it good for football news purposes, right? Breaking stories, things like that. You certainly find those out before maybe the AP gets their hands on it, whatever else, right? But we're here.
I will be fired soon because I will learn that I needed Twitter, and now
I won't let you get fired. Lowe's won't let you get fired. You're too important to the team here.
Lowe's got my back. All right, we got big division wins. We'll talk about that. Give me the headlines. Team getting back on track. We got the Thursday night recap. If you stay till the end, we got to hear all about
Thursday night,
your trip to New Jersey.
Okay.
To watch the
And
Giants
we are watching Baltimore and Buffalo. It's 28-10 right now with a minute left in the third quarter. Josh Allen got strip sacked on a reverse flea flicker when it was 21-10. It looked like he was going to have somebody open downfield. Either way, they get the strip sack. He got killed.
Looked like he may have been murdered, too.
But he is still alive, and he's out here playing. But the Baltimore did go down and score, and they're up 28-10 here.
So we'll talk about that with a couple dominant quarterbacks playing on Sunday Night Football. And that is where we start. Dominant quarterback play throughout the NFL, and we begin the whole thing with one of the more impressive, surprising. This is the best rookie quarterback performance that I can think of since last year in C.J. Stroud with what he did. The Commanders did it again. Jayden Daniels did it again.
It's kind of crazy, 2 years in a row to see a rookie kind of come into the league and do this. And I'll say this, where he's got even an advantage over C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud didn't look like this through 4 weeks, right? I mean, they started out 0-2 there last year, and it was kind of like, hey, we see some good things, but, it's not perfect yet. And then it started to take off. I mean, really, there's been, pretty solid in week 1 against Tampa. Ooh, the Giants game, man, they never stopped them. Yeah, they didn't get an end zone, but they kicked field goals, right? So there was that. Week 3, well, it'll fall off against the Bengals, right? What? Holy cow, he outperforms Joe Burrow and does all that. And then to go to Arizona, I'm blown away. They're one of the surprises of the NFL season. I did not pick them to win today, especially how Arizona looked last week playing against your Detroit Lion football team. Defense looked good. Everything looked good there. But I think this is where Washington's different. I mean, we talked about Jayden Daniels on Wednesday, right? He's very comfortable in the offense because it's familiar to him from college. He also, of course, has an incredible skill set that he can feel comfortable with playing in a game. He's like very confident and secure with what he's seeing on the field, and I think that goes back to the college thing there, to where he kind of knows where everybody is all the time. His accuracy throwing the football is better than I even thought it was coming out of college, out of LSU. I mean, he just a little bit like C.J. Stroud, where he doesn't miss the target very much. I mean, like, he's open by 3 inches. Oh, we got it in there. He's open by 3 feet. Oh, he still threw it perfect to where he could run after the catch. I think that's amazing, and then he makes a few plays. So kudos to him. It's astounding. He's breaking records in front of our eyes.
Let me give a couple of those because I think they are pretty astounding. So he has the second most rushing yards by a quarterback through 4 career games, tied for the most rush touchdowns by a quarterback through 4 career games. So that's like rookie stuff right there. But then you talk about his completion percentage, and this is like best quarterback ever.
All the
best
quarterbacks.
Completion percentage in NFL history, 82.1% through 4 games of a season, minimum 40 attempts. So he is on point. A lot of credit to Cliff Kingsbury. Like you said, he got a game ball for beating his old team there in Arizona from Dan Quinn. So, it's looking like he has gone from college where there were some questions about the offense there and the things that he was asked to do. I'll go routes.
Yeah,
just
all he does
the
is
ball.
throw go routes or like a hitch or a curl route on the outside. He doesn't do enough, right? We brought that up too. There's not a lot of throws over the middle of the field. I think we felt like he was confident in doing that and capable of doing that. That's just not the way they played. I do think that made some people feel uncomfortable, like, oh man, I wish I could see a little bit more. But either way, what you're seeing in college and what we're seeing right now, it's not that too far off as far as unbelievable accuracy, precision, calmness. Just anything never seems to bother him at all. I think that's what's amazing. The team around him's playing well. They got some mojo going.
Yeah.
You brought up Cliff Kingsbury. He's a guy I've been critical of in the past, right? I mean, there's things I like about Cliff. I mean, I love Cliff the man. Let me just say that right off the bat. I think he's a great guy. I know that. Right? And I do think he's a good football coach, but I've always been on him a little bit like we talked about on Wednesday. The offense kind of gets stale after a few weeks. What else is there? Oh, they don't really run the ball or have that many run plays. That's where Washington is different. And that's where, after this week, I'm going to take them definitely a little bit more seriously for real. And the fact that they run the ball. They can run the ball on anybody.
I want to give you credit on that, too, because early on in the season, you go, this offensive line is better than I thought it was.
It really is. I was not expecting it. And not only, we talked about how it pass protected last week against the Bengals. Yeah. Again, good today. But running the ball, firing off the ball, and then I think what I see, too, is the formations and different running schemes that go along with it, where I go, hey, between now the run game and him throwing the football and Cliff Kingsbury changing up formations, they got a lot to defend. And then you got Jayden Daniels. Oh, wait, we got to worry about him scrambling and the quarterback design runs off of that. That's where they have become really tough. And I hope it continues. But, major kudos to Cliff Kingsbury to go back and get a victory against the old team. But from what I've seen to his offense right now and how he's coached Jayden Daniels, it's phenomenal stuff. 4
incomplete passes out of 30 throws for Jayden Daniels today against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say about Arizona, too, because I'm not going to give up on Arizona. I certainly did not expect them to get beat the way they did today. I definitely did not. But here's one thing that I think does catch my attention, or a question I'll ask for you, right? And we've kind of hit on this a little bit. Defensively, what happened today is you saw there's not a front 7 guy that pops during a game. They never have a front 7 guy that can, we got Jayden Daniels for a sack. Now it's 3rd and 17. We finally got him in a bad spot, right? So they don't have any of that, or the play guy where you go, they ran it up the middle and they lost 6. Now they're behind this, the sticks, and there's trouble there, right? We know how valuable that is. But here's the other thing that popped to me a little bit. I don't know if they're explosive enough at receiver. And I'm not taking a shot at anybody here, but some of the things I've seen during the year and some of the replays I saw during the game today, Washington did not seem like they were too fearful of getting in their face and playing man-to-man. And that is something I worry about them, is they have enough guys that can separate and make some plays after the catch or beat them deep.
Well, it's like their top 2 guys, Marvin Harrison Jr., who caught another touchdown.
Yeah, who's really good, but he's not a separation guy.
And Michael Wilson's kind of the same way.
Same thing, exactly right. Kind of a bigger, he's a good route runner, they'll break a tackle, do all of that. But it's not like, we're playing a man-to-man team, and now those guys are like, oh, gosh, they're going to run by me. They don't have that, and that jumped to my mind a little bit today as I was watching the game.
All right, so the Cardinals, they fall to 1-3. The Washington Commanders, a surprise, 3-1. Another surprise. The Buccaneers got a win over the Eagles, 33-16, the final score here. So I want to apologize for last week, Ahmed. who said that the previous week Ahmed was wrong for naming the Buccaneers one of the better teams in the NFL. That Ahmed was right.
Right.
Last week Ahmed was wrong for saying that other Ahmed was wrong.
Good. Way to self-scout thyself.
It.
Old Ahmed against new Ahmed.
I can't believe
against
I did that.
old Ahmed. Oh, Derrick Henry's running down the sideline for a long run to the 1-yard line. This game's going to be over.
It's like one of those sayings that if you're over 50 years old and lived in some place with weather you've said in your life, it's like you don't like the weather, just wait a week. And
and it'll change.
You don't like your favorite team, just wait a week and you might like them.
We are a little bit like that, and I think we've hit on this a little bit. This is going to be the current state, I think, of the NFL in September a lot. As the way the current rules are, the lack of preseason play, all of that. I still think we're in a process here of teams are, figuring themselves out, dealing with a few early season injuries and having to mix and match some things there. And no game would, be a better example for that than this one. I mean, hey, did I think the Eagles, again, did I think they get steamrolled like this today? Absolutely not. But no A.J. Brown, no Devontae Smith, right? There's no Lane Johnson. So they were missing some key pieces. Like, even though they didn't play good, they're going to be able to sell themselves to sleep tonight, and they'll go, well, our best players weren't there. So if we have to play them again, we'll be okay. But the story of the day was Baker Mayfield. I mean, Baker Mayfield and the passing offense of Tampa Bay, from get-go, they just absolutely tore the Eagles up. Great first drive. And then I wrote Baker them up, 14-0. Man, Eagles don't look good. Oh, Eagles muff punt. They were backed up, muff punt. Oh, now it's 21-0 Bucks, right? 24-0 Bucks. Eagles, tough, ugly TD drive. Got it in, 24-7. Saquon breaks a long run. You go, okay, here we go. We're going to get going again. But right as that happened, Bucks go right down and score and say, don't get your hopes up. We still are going to move the ball on you. And move the ball in that pass game, which is extremely aggressive. Had a little success running the football too. And it just did not look like the same Eagles defense that we saw last week that was so stout and tough in the Saints game that we praised in our Wednesday podcast.
So it's 10 total touchdowns this season for Baker Mayfield, just 2 interceptions. Next Gen Stats has some more numbers for us. I want to know what you think of this.
Yeah.
So Baker, who's averaged his second quickest time to throw in a game of his career in this game, 2.22 seconds.
Yeah.
At his best in the quick passing game against the Eagles, completing 22 of 32 passes, 219 yards and a touchdown. So Mayfield currently leads all quarterbacks in completions, yards, and touchdowns on passes under 2.5 seconds this season.
Well, they've been almost, I think, like a little too, what do I want to say, hard-headed in trying to throw the ball down the field and depending on the big pass play. Even like we talked about it, I think on Wednesday or last Sunday night. Even the game they beat you in Detroit, they beat the Lions. The stats weren't great, but there was like 4 or 5 big pass plays where you went, oh, that flipped the field position or they got a touchdown off of it. Mm-hmm. This was the first game that I would say that I looked at and went, surgical. This was the first time. And I would think, and again, I don't know until I watch the film totally, but I would think the Eagles, and it looked like this to me when I was watching the game, were like, man, they throw the ball down the field a lot. And it looked like they played a lot of deep dropping zones. And Baker was patient enough to go, wait, Chris Godwin's here for 5. He'll turn it up for 8. Okay, Mike Evans is here for 6. He'll turn it up for 10. And they just chipped away, let alone they got a pretty good screen game, too, with their backs. Their backs catch the ball out of the backfield. So it was encouraging to see. And I'm telling you, if they could run the ball like they did today, and we've seen bits and pieces of that this year, they are going to be tough because Baker is always going to be an aggressive, big-arm quarterback, and we know these guys can stretch the field a little bit in Evans and Godwin.
So the Eagles, yes, missing some people, but they have not started out fast in any of their games.
No, they haven't.
Been outscored 23-0 in the first quarter of the season. It was 14-0 today, and they pick up their second loss of the season. Last year, their second loss came
Week 13?
In December.
Yeah, was it the 49er game?
Then they got rolling with more of those losses.
Yeah, then they continued.
Broke the seal after that. So they just got to get their guys back healthy?
They got to get their guys back healthy, but there was still not a look of them today that was I thought we were going to be done with it, honestly. They were out physical. They were out, intensitied, if that's a word, which it's not, but I'm going with it, right? You could tell the game from the get-go. The Bucs were like, let's go. We're going to prove everybody wrong that Ahmed said that we weren't ready for primetime last week.
Yeah, don't listen to that. Listen to the week ago, Ahmed.
Right. So they look like they won the emotional battle. And that's where I think I was a little annoyed with Philadelphia. It was just like, after I saw last week, you were so scrappy and tough, and then this week, is this the way we're going to be with the Eagles this year? It's going to be just a roller coaster. It's going to depend on the week and who talks trash and how motivated they get that way. I don't love that. Mm-hmm. let alone, hey, the offense, the passing game. I understand there's no Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown, but even with this team and this offensive line and that guy at quarterback, I certainly expected more on offense today. I definitely did. And, again, Jalen Hurts has got to watch holding the ball so long in the pocket. It's okay to hold the ball long in the pocket, but once you hold it to a certain point, you got to start looking behind. You got to start moving around the pocket. He sometimes makes somebody miss, and then he resets the throw. And I want to be like, hey, the guy you made miss, he's not going to give up. He's coming back for more. And he got strip sacked by that guy today. And I've seen a little bit of that. But yeah, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board, but I do think the injuries will help them kind of swipe this one under the rug a little quicker than most games.
It's been topsy-turvy, roller coaster for a lot of teams. Yeah. Thank God for the Minnesota Vikings. They have been steady Eddie. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. They win again. They win at Lambeau.
Yeah.
Get out to a big lead. Almost blew it late, but they hold on 31-29. It is their first 4-0 start since 2016.
Wow. Well,
a young Mike Florio was watching them.
We tried to tell people last week after they beat Houston, stop this, this is some great story. They're real. It's over. It's official. They dominated the 49ers, and we're on the cusp of blowing them out. They blew out the Texans, and today, they were very close to blowing out the Green Bay Packers as well. Forget even if they didn't blow them out. They showed a period of the game where they can be dominant and play at such a high level that you go, I don't see a lot of teams playing like that. Just moving the ball, boom, 20, 30 yards, throws, boom, 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 defense creating turnovers, whatever. Sam Darnold just continues to have the hot hand. I'll say what I always say. I've never seen an offense or a play caller in O'Connell who gets more people open 20 yards down the field than he does. It almost reminds me of Brady and the Patriots in their heyday, where it'd just be like, man, how many times can Gronk and Edelman be open for 15 yards over the middle? How will they do this? But there's the details and how plays are called and the route combinations. They got it going. Darnold's got it going as far as accuracy and feel in the pocket. And then I've said it a little bit, they can run the ball this year. That's where they're scary. So that was the story of the day, was how good Sam Darnold was. But the other story of the day was, should they have played Jordan Love, or should they just stayed with Malik Willis, who was hot, and Jordan Love wasn't quite 100%, and all of that? And do you play him this quick? Because he was rusty today. And they got into a 28-0 hole because of Jordan Love mistakes and Jordan Love missed throws that I know he's capable of making, but his time off certainly showed today, and I think it's fair to question that. Not saying he should be benched from Malik Willis, but should be one of those things where he's hot, we're playing well, you're not totally yourself yet. Let's get another week of practice so you can feel better about yourself, and then throw him in.
Three interceptions. Did come back, though, with 4 touchdowns.
I know.
And so on the other side of it, you can say we did see this a little bit last year with Jordan Love.
You're right.
When he was healthy.
We did.
It was a late game. He turns it on. Did not start out great. 9 of 19 with a couple interceptions there early on. But
and missed some throws over the middle, like on the first drive of the game, where you're going to go, they're going to hit a shallow cross where you're going to go, he's going to score or at least get the first down. It's going to be first down inside the 5-yard line. He threw it low. He was off target.
Now, at some point, you're going to have to rip the Band-Aid off and put him back out there, but maybe he's a little healthier or closer to 100%.
I'm just a favor of the Bill Belichick thought of what he used to do. And I learned this being there and watching it, because the year I was there, Gronk was hurt. And it was like, okay, Gronk's back healthy. And he practiced, and I was like, telling all my friends, like, yeah, Gronk's coming back this week. And I was telling my dad. My dad's like, how's Gronk? I'm like, he's coming back this week.
He's reporting it on TV.
And then I get there on Sunday, and I'm like, oh, Gronk's not playing. And they're like, oh, yeah, Bill's not going to play him yet. Bill's going to probably make him practice another week before he even plays him, right?
Phil doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's going to get, but to that point of, you're going to get the guy back in playing shape and feeling good and comfortable on the field and kind of close as he can be to hitting on all cylinders before you do that. And I think that's what you bring. His interceptions were bad. I mean, the interception that Christian Watson got hurt on was a bad decision. He had a bad one when they were backed up. And then, of course, when they brought the game close, and it was, I believe, 31-22 at that point. It might be wrong. It's 28-22, I believe. 6 minutes left. I got to look at it now. Now I'm driving myself.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
The last interception, what was the score of the game? Can you find that up?
God, I don't know.
I can find it. I'll find it before you. To hell with you, okay? Right. Who needs you? All right. So
I'm going to do this. Dun, 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 dun. 35-10, Ravens.
But his last interception, okay, I got it. Sorry. It was 31-22. There was 6:20 left in the game. They had all 3 timeouts. They bring a blitz off the right edge, and he just chucked it up. Just threw it up right into Byron Murphy's hands, right? And I'm just going, listen, like, I know we want to make a play and all of that, but it's 9 points. You're way out of the red zone. It was a first down, and you have 3 timeouts. Like, you don't need to panic and throw that ball up. So that was bad too. So hopefully he gets back on track. But the point is still, should he have played today? I don't know. And Sam Darnold and the Vikings are good.
And you're going to hear people say, surprise team. I don't think they're surprised.
I think we stop saying that.
I think we just missed it.
Yes.
Right? I think as a collective NFL media community, we just missed it.
Agreed. I think so. I think there's the doubt of Sam Darnold, right? What's that going to look like? Is he going to be able to pick up this offense this quickly, right? The defense, they lost Danielle Hunter. Are they going to be as good? Mm-hmm. I think there was a lot of questions there, but they have definitely proved us all wrong and I have no problem like saying clearly the best team in the NFC right now. I'm not saying that I think they're the best team to go to the Super Bowl still, but you're telling me you're the best team right now, the quality of play, both sides of the ball, the Vikings are the best team in the NFC right now.
Best team in the NFL the last couple of years has been the Kansas City Chiefs. They defeated the Chargers 17-10. This is like a gauntlet league or something like that. It's like the Chiefs can win, but you have to eliminate a player for every victory that you get.
Right.
Bad news on Rashee Rice. He's going to have his knee checked out tomorrow with an MRI. This is Andy Reid saying it is his knee, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure it's not as good as news as we want, so it seems like they're pretty pessimistic on this.
No, all the word on the street, and I'm not trying to sit here and play doctor, but it sounds like it's a torn ACL. Ugh. So I don't think we should be shocked when we wake up Monday morning or probably Monday late morning by the time he gets in and out of the MRI, where they're going to come back and say he's done for the year.
So I don't want to doubt Patrick Mahomes, right?
Right.
But like just to put kind of like the importance of Rashee Rice on what he has been to this offense, like when they had Tyreek Hill, they relied on him. They have relied on Rashee Rice, I believe, more than any wide receiver. I mean, he is like the number one target for Patrick Mahomes.
100%, right? We've been trying to tell people this from the start of training camp, right? Yeah. When I went to practice, whatever else. I mean, he's the guy. He was the guy at the end of last year. They started to go, wait, most pass plays, we got Kelsey, but we're going to start like even splitting that up and going, hey, Rashee, you're number one read here. So, this is – and then we're talking about a team that is offensively challenged right now. They're a defensive football team. We got to continue to start saying that to people. They've won 4 games, and they've all been because of their defense. Plain and simple. There's no other way to say it. But, I'm worried. I definitely am. They do have a coach and a quarterback that we know how to make plays, how to make game plans, and hang around, and they're going to make big plays in big moments and do this, right? But is this sustainable to go to the Super Bowl and do all that? I want to say I don't know, but I'm certainly not going to count them out. I mean, hey, after last year, I can't say anything about the Chiefs.
So what would they need? They would need Worthy to
they
step
need
up,
Worthy
and
to take him, which is a big play, but he's got to be a more consistent every down receiver. Can they get him involved in it that way? The Noah Gray and the Justin Watsons of the world are going to come back into play here, certainly, and I would expect them now, because of this and Hollywood Brown not coming back probably to the playoffs, if he does come back, they're going to be in the trade conversation for somebody when it comes trade deadline time. The encouraging thing today was at least they got Kelsey going a little bit. Yeah, Kelsey had a day. That was good. Definitely. And then their defense is just an ass-whooping unit. That's what they are. And I think when you see the Chargers, when the Chargers can't run the ball, the big question is going to be, if they can't have some sustainability at running, can the Greg Roman offense stand on its own throwing the football? And I think that's going to be a question we're going to look at as we go forward here, especially with Justin Herbert not at 100%.
Yeah, Chargers in their final 8 possessions, 0 points there. So it stalled out.
It stalled out
sure.
big
and it
time.
stalled out last week. They did have some injuries, but not great. Can we show the dots here? You want to show the dots on Xavier Worthy?
Oh,
we got him, right? Xavier. Is it Xavier?
Xavier.
That's the hardest name in the NFL because you never know. Xavier?
I know.
I think most are X
You're
now.
right. Here we go.
54-yard touchdown reception. So this one traveled 62.2 yards in the air. It was Mahomes' longest completion by air distance of his career.
Wow. That's big news, actually, really, to me. But hey, again, this might be how they have to play here. Okay, and if you're sitting here watching on YouTube and look at this, look at what we got here. 2 tight ends set, 2 receivers, fake the speed sweep, fake the run. Okay, we got deep post or inside go route with Kelsey running a crossing route, but this might have to be kind of the style they play here. They're going to have to continue to play ugly, run the ball. He'll try to be efficient, and then when you creep up or they find the right moment, they'll try to make a throw down the field. Certainly hurts their football team, no doubt about that. But it's like, again, they're a dynasty. And it's like you felt like when the Patriots sometimes, you just go, wait, this guy hurt, this guy's hurt. How can they win the game this week? What? They've won 4 in a row? How can that happen? Hey, you can't count them out. Their culture there is real, and their belief in winning any game is real. And like usual, they make the big plays in the big moments to get over the edge, and they did that again today.
All right, don't look at the rundown. Andy Reid has been there in KC now 12 seasons. Okay. How many of those 12 seasons have they started 4-0?
Okay. All right. Hold on a second. I'm going to say 5 of them.
6.
Oh, I was going to say 6, and I chickened out.
It was 5 before today.
Damn, I chickened out on 6. But either way, half your season's there, 4-0.
Yeah.
That speaks to that. Nothing speaks to your coaching more than that, in my opinion. Having your team ready, physically ready to run around and hit in the current state of the NFL. That's where Andy Reid runs these old school training camps, and you see it comes in handy to start the year.
Houston Texans, they're 3-1 right now. Their best start since 2016, 2-0 in the AFC South. They get a win over the Jaguars, who played maybe their best game of the season.
Yeah, probably.
In a losing effort.
Yeah, I mean, desperation game. Get to start the game off with the Texans muffing a punt, so you get a 2-yard touchdown pass to start the game, and you go, hey, we're 7-0, we're feeling good, right? So they had a little momentum early. They had Texans offense a little off kilter, at least in the first half. But that only happens for a little while. I mean, it's only a matter of time, right? With your C.J. Stroud starts to carve you up and do everything that way. But, the big thing, I think I'll hit the Jaguars first, real quick, is Bigsby. You score there. Bigsby breaks a big run. Yo, what up, mofos? Look I got the crew behind me during the show.
We were part of a selfie.
Break that down. What up? Thanks for that. I love it. You're cool. You're out. See ya.
Yeah, they got the full.
They got it there. But the Jaguars were stopped on 4th down after Bigsby runs the big run down to the 3 or 4 yard line. They come away with no points there. Trevor Lawrence definitely missed 3 or 4 throws again today in a big game where you'd go, wait, we need you to jumpstart the organization here. And there was 3 or 4 throws where you certainly go, here's the moment. Here we go. And, yeah, that's a problem. Definitely. I mean, one guy on the other side, every big moment, boom, big pass on the money. And then it's you. It's like, hey, that's good, it's good. Okay, big moment. Oh, we got it. He missed it. And honestly, Doug Peterson, did you see his quotes after the game?
So I did. So he said this after the game, because you're blaming some of the players. So did he. He goes, as coaches, we can't go out there and make the plays. It's a two-way street. Now, this was after someone asked a question about should he take over the play calling duties. So I think it's a little unfair to him because he was trying to stick up for Press Taylor, I guess.
He was.
So he's trying to stick up for one of his coaches there. And at the end, he did say, put it on me if you want to put it on the coach. But
when he said it, I was thinking he was talking about Trevor Lawrence missed 3 or 4 throws today that get them over the edge.
I mean, that could have been.
That's what I heard in my brain, right? That was what. Now, I know exactly what you're right. I mean, I know how he said it, and he was sticking up for his play caller.
He was talking about someone.
He was.
Or multiple people.
To me, that would have been the thought that I think goes through his head in this situation. We know their defense isn't great, right? We know that. They ran the ball well enough today. Offensively, they played well enough to have chances to win the football game, and the quarterback didn't make some of the throws that were there to be had, and that's what you want from your $55 million man. Then on the other hand, and Jaguars offense, it's just everything's hard. That's the big thing, and I've been saying that for a year. It seems like they can't find big throws down the field. He missed Kirk deep once. I know Brian Thomas Jr. showed up one time as well. But, yeah, there was throws missed. And then on the other side, there's a guy that just never misses. I mean, he never misses. I mean, it's like, oh, wow, man. I mean, they're to the point where it's like when they settle for a field goal, I'm like, man, they settled for a field goal. What's wrong? CJ couldn't throw it in the end zone here? I mean, that's where it's getting to. But it gets to the point where it's at the end of football games, too, and he gets the ball. He's becoming that guy where it's just like, oh, well, they're down. Well, I mean, he's got the ball. They're going to go down and score here. He's that damn good. He's that calm. He's amazing in the pocket. They didn't run the ball all that well today, but it just was him making one great throw to his number one target, Nico Collins, play after play.
15 targets, 12 receptions. Dream Team Apple One has tweeted to you, a little love for Nico Collins. It's safe to call him one of the best receivers in the league. He's on pace for over 2,000 receiving yards this year.
Yeah.
His receptions and yards through the first 4 games. Texans 3-1, can still play a lot better as well. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. They've lost their run game the last few weeks, so they haven't been able to rely on that much. And, yeah, their defense, again, not that it was bad today, but it certainly didn't look as dominant as it did the first 2 weeks, right? So last week they got, drilled by the Vikings. This week they hung in there and make some big plays and some big moments, but I still don't think it was something they're going to look at and go, oh, we played our best ball here. No, I don't. But back to our question there, yeah, we've been giving Nico love. We've been trying to say the offense is around Nico. He's the guy. Diggs is number 2. And Nico is a pleasant surprise because he was a guy I like coming out of Michigan, but I went, he's missing a gear to make himself special, right? But he's like, to me, and I don't think I was wrong and he was missing the gear. I think he's a guy through hard work and knowing how an NFL receiver has to train and eat has changed his body a little bit, and he made himself faster and more explosive that way too. So awesome. I mean, he's an incredible player, but I mean, you put C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins, I don't know. You tell me. I mean, okay, it's up there with any of the great combinations in the sport right now.
Totally. It's a fun team to watch. Then
is.
You got Diggs, then you got Dell.
Yeah,
and if they get that running game going,
right.
They could definitely get
if they get that running game going, watch out.
From the AFC South to the NFC South, the Falcons and Saints, last second, Younghoe Koo, career-long 58-yard field goal with 2 seconds remaining. I did not like the end of that game for the Falcons. I was about to rip on them because they had like 3 plays to get it a little closer.
Oh, what the?
And they were just going like,
what?
Streak down.
They tried to throw for a touchdown. I'm going, wait, is Younghoe Koo, you guys are that like confident in Younghoe Koo that he's just going to kick a 60-yarder?
Or not confident that we need to score here.
Yeah, what was it? I don't even know.
They got a little lucky on that last play too because Kirk threw an out, and I don't know who that was to, but he was diving for it. If he catches that, I think he's down.
Runs out.
I think he's down in bounds.
The clock runs out.
Yes.
I agree. I totally agree.
Like, what's
Plus,
happening?
let alone he had somebody in the flat to get him the 5 yards to make it a little easier for Koo. I don't know what they were doing at the end of that football game either.
Doesn't matter, they won.
It doesn't matter, they won. But I think that would classify. There was a few games today where I felt like one team outplayed the other, and the team that was outplayed won the game. And I would say Atlanta would be that team. And I'm not trying to discredit anything. I know it's the NFL, and you never apologize for a win or do any of that. But it did feel like very much a lot of mistakes by New Orleans early on in the football game that kind of set things up. Saints muffed a punt. Falcons got a quick touchdown off that, right? Saints went right down the field and did whatever they wanted, right? Boom, boom, boom. It's 7-7. Then Cousins throws an interception. The wide receiver slipped. It wasn't totally his fault, but the Saints go right down and score again. Like, I mean, nothing. So you're going, but this isn't a good look. I mean, holy cow, Atlanta's like not even slowing them down the slightest, right? That's what I'm going on here a little bit. Then the tip pass interception happens. So you're sitting there going, wait, they're up 14-7. Atlanta got it on a short field off of they recovered the fumble in the end zone to go up 7-0. So no offense happened. It's 14-7. Atlanta had the ball. They went, punted it. Saints got it back, and you're going, oh, man, the Saints, the way it looks, they're going to go right down the field here, and it's going to be like night-night, right? And I'm missing maybe a field goal drive in there in either way, but they get a tip pass interception. Judon makes it happen and returns it for a touchdown. So you're sitting there going, wait, they had one little field goal drive, and they're up 17-14?
Yeah.
And their defense is getting drilled? right? So that's why I have that feeling a little bit. Not to say that Atlanta didn't correct it, and they got it going on the offense a little bit as the game went on. But early on, if you just told me, hey, look at the game without knowing the scoring plays, I'd go, oh, New Orleans is up by 2 or 3 scores for sure. No problem. But hey, Atlanta made the plays, whatever. New Orleans made the mistakes, however you want to say it, and they were in the game. And then Kirk Cousins and company did settle in and started to become more efficient in the pass game.
Yeah, Atlanta, 26 points, no offensive touchdowns in the game. And so it just goes
that kind of says it. Okay, so look, I'm glad you said that because I was like, wait, because sometimes I forget that, like little things like that where I'm going, yeah, it was field goals throughout the day. Our man Algier at running back,
yep,
he was a beast today. I mean, man, did he run hard and make some good plays?
He only had 8 carries for 60 yards, but 7.5 a clip.
Yes, he was impressive. They got a nice little 1-2 combo there. But all in all,
you don't feel like you feel the same about both of these teams as you did before the game almost, right?
I do. I actually
you like the Saints even
more.
more.
Still like the Saints, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which you probably did before the game.
I did like the game. So you're right. It kind of kept the same. No matter, even though they lost, I still go, well, I still think the Saints are better than the Falcons right now, at least. And I think I see more potential there altogether. We'll see where it goes. Maybe Atlanta can improve some things. But, yeah, Atlanta, to me, the other thing is Cousins, not a big explosive arm. And then, are they going to be able to be big and explosive down the field to stretch the field to get people off the surgical Kirk Cousins passing game and the Bijan Robinson run game? And that's what I worry about them a little bit as we go forward here.
Morgan was depressed because she's got to give up on Kyle Pitts now on the fantasy team. 3 targets, no catches. We called him a generational talent back in which we blew it because now we can't use that term. You know my rules for 20 years. That's a generation, so you got to wait 20 years. So they got to figure some things out with explosive playmakers in the passing game.
That's definitely a big part of it. Right now, Darnell Mooney is their most explosive guy.
Yeah.
They're going to have to continue to find ways to back people off a little bit there to help out their run game and help out Kirk Cousins in the short to intermediate pass game.
All right, we got a lot to do still. We got to give you the headlines. Chris will try to go off the dome and give some headlines from the printing press. And we have an all-too-familiar Jets loss. That was written by Pete, a Giants fan. And Chris will enjoy talking about that perhaps here. That's coming up next. Welcome back to Chris Sims Unbuttoned, presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. And it is time to go into the printing press. Ladies and gentlemen, give me the headlines presented by Hyundai. This is where we give you tomorrow's headlines today, but you are watching it tomorrow, so it is today for you, if that makes any sense for you.
Well said.
Colts and Steelers, 3-point game.
Yes.
Steelers go down for the first time this season. Your headline for this one is?
Well, I use this on Football Night in America. I'm cheating a little bit. But Joltin' Joe Flacco, Jersey Joe Flacco.
It is amazing.
He really is.
We talk about how the game has changed.
Yes.
Right? You cannot win anymore with a statue.
Right.
And then animatronic Joe Flacco comes in and goes to the playoffs last year and now delivers the Colts a victory.
Yeah. Well, what happens is when you do have some other elite traits, right, you can overcome some of those non-elite things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
He played a lot of football, so he's a lot of experience there. Still has a gifted arm. He is still a bullseye thrower. There's no doubt about that. Great game. I feel bad for Anthony Richardson, right? It was a day in a game where you went, hey, he looks pretty good here early. Kind of looks like he had control of the football, was seeing the field well. Okay, but of course he goes down with a hip injury, takes a shot from Minkah Fitzpatrick, I believe, right on that right hip. He came back like a play later, ran and went down on his own accord, basically because something didn't feel right? But then Joe comes in, boom, touchdown. I think the first thing that pops to me in this game is Joe, of course, was really good, right? Shane Steichen has something on the Steelers' defense. He's got them. I don't know what it is that he's got them in, but, they played him in December. They played in 2 games out of the last 8 games. He's got 700 yards of offense and 300 yards rushing against the Steelers. The Steelers that looked like the best defense in football coming into this game today. You thought, man, they number 1? So he obviously has something with how he can tie the run game together and his play action pass that he feels like he's got a good feel for what Mike Tomlin and company do on that side of the ball. So that was big. And the fact that they have Joe Flacco as a backup quarterback is incredible, and that's why a backup quarterback's got great value for a team that's good or feels like they're a playoff caliber football team. Now they don't fall apart. Now we sit here and go, yeah, the Colts don't have Anthony Richardson, but they got Joe Flacco, and they're still in this thing, right? And in fact, yeah, he can't run like Anthony Richardson, but he can throw it better. He's going to be a better decision-making. So there'll be stuff there that he can take advantage of that Anthony Richardson couldn't. So that aspect is cool, and they continue to be one of the best running teams in football. Their O-line, they can run the ball, and Jonathan Taylor's a beast, and that has also kind of surprised me today that they were able to run the ball the way they did on Pittsburgh.
They were committed to it.
They
21
are
carries
committed.
for Jonathan Taylor. Flacco said post-game, he goes, Anthony Richardson's mom is 8 days older than I am, so there's no chance in the world he thinks I'm cool. I wouldn't say that. There's at least a chance. B. Banos 12 says, damn okay to Shane Steichen putting a game plan together on the fly after AR's injury and hanging 27 on the almighty Steelers defense. And so a shout out there from B. Banos 12. I saw you put up your finger. You have another point you want to make on the Colts or the Steelers.
The Steelers.
Yeah, boy, here we go.
Well, the Steelers, they waited too long to open it up today. That was the problem to me. Justin Fields is ready. We saw again another good throwing performance. George Pickens reaching out for a first down in the first half when they were driving and could have probably made it 17-7.
Inside the 5.
Inside the 5. That was a huge moment in the game because you kind of felt like Pittsburgh settled in a little bit, and now their offense is moving the ball. But I think they need to trust him a little bit more. Old Justin Fields gone. I haven't seen old Justin Fields in a while. He hits the open target. He doesn't throw the ball into triple coverage. He's doing the right thing. So he continues to progress, and I think they're going to have to open up the vault with him a little bit. I'm not giving up on the Steelers. I think there's still a lot of good there, but, I guess my worry about them is a little bit like I've said with other teams. I wish it was just a little easier on offense. And does every drive have to be long and tough and, he made a good scramble and a few good throws and we ran it between the tackles good? Can they ever be easy? Can they ever be 2 or 3 play drives? That's the thing that's going to worry me going forward. But either way, Justin Fields looks good. Big win for the Colts. I expect Joe Flacco to be the starter here for the recent future at least.
And Death on Twitter says that Justin Fields, I'm a Lions fan. He clearly wasn't the problem in Chicago, put the Steelers on his back today. He did. 312 yards passing, and then he led the team in rushing with 55 yards on 10 carries.
That's what they don't want. They don't want him leading the team in rushing. Yeah. That's where it went. Today, they couldn't run the ball, and they kept going, no, we're going to run it this series. No, we're going to run it this series. And then it was like, no, you're down 17-0 now. Stop. And I know the Colts have had bad run defense, but the Colts, I think, today went, it's the Steelers. They're not going to throw early on. We'll over-aggressive or overplay the run. And they did that, and it came back to bite the Steelers in the butt.
Broncos, they get another win. They do it again. This one was pretty ugly. It was an ugly game in New Jersey, raining, wet, slippery.
Good old Jersey fall weather
10-9
right there.
Over the Jets. Your headline for this one is?
Rodgers gets nixed.
He did.
He got nixed. He got nicked up. I mean, he did it. This was, probably the ugliest game of the day.
Yes.
Another game, though, that I would go, I think the Jets were probably the better team on the football field.
Well, it's a game that they should be built to win.
Exactly right. The funny thing is, and a few people said this back in our viewing room, they were like, these are the games we used to win with Zach Wilson. Like, we'd win at 12-10 or something, even though it was like, he was ugly and he didn't throw the ball well, but we used to win that. There was a heartbreaking loss for Jets fans because it was symphony last week when they played the Patriots. All you heard in New York was, oh my gosh, Aaron Rodgers never misses a read. It's like he's knows it before it happens. Oh my gosh. That's all it was all week. So I did have a little fun watching some of my Jet fans in the viewing room today squirm and like, what the hell's going on? We can't get first downs again today. What the hell is it?
Just needed a dry ball.
It was an ugly game. It started out ugly. Garrett Wilson fumbled, starts there, but the D held it together early with the Broncos got a short field off the Garrett Wilson fumble, and the field position game, I'm telling you, early in the game, all they did was have the ball at the 50-yard line. And the Jets were like, nope, 3 and out, punt it back to us, right? But the Jets couldn't really ever get anything going throughout the day.
Yeah.
The Jets couldn't run the ball, and this is where my other thing is going to come on. Theme of Chris Sims and what you've heard about Aaron Rodgers. They got to throw the freaking ball down the field a little bit. Jason Garrett said it in Football Night America. Nobody is scared of them to throw it. Everybody knows he wants to throw it short and intermediate. That's what he wants to do. And, Garrett Wilson's the only guy that really scares you down the field. And I think that plays into the hands like a guy like Vance Joseph and Sean Payton. They were like, screw it, call their bluff. Let's get close to the line of scrimmage. Let's crowd the middle of the field a little bit.
Which makes the run game
exactly.
hard.
And let's not let this guy have time to throw, and let's blitz the old man a little bit. Yeah. And they blitzed him, and they hit the shit out of him today. I mean, he's going to be as sore as he's been in a long time.
He was limping off the field at the end of the
game.
game.
He took a lot of big hits. I believe he was hit 10 times throughout the day. And I'm telling you, they were car crash type hits.
Denver outrushed the Jets 126-64, so just about twice as much, and that was the difference in the ball game.
It was.
Wasn't pretty for the Broncos
right.
either. I think at one point, Nix had like 7 completions for -7 yards.
He was 7 for 15 for -7.
How is that possible?
Because they couldn't do anything. All they could do was throw screens behind the line of scrimmage and short balls in the flat. The wet ball definitely affected Nix.
Yeah.
You could see him literally at times like trying to adjust it in his hand to find a dry spot, and then he was like shot putting it at times. But I think your point there and what you said about the run game, that was big. The Jets went up 10. They went up 9-7, and let Williams and company just run it right down their throat to get into field goal range to kick the field goal to go ahead. That was big. Their other drive of the game, it was a big pass interference when they threw the ball deep down the field to Cortland Sutton, and then he hit Cortland Sutton for the touchdown in the back of the end zone. But really, there wasn't much more to talk about. It was an ugly, tough, physical win, and I got to give a lot of credit to the Broncos defense for making Rodgers that uncomfortable. You don't see that often.
After the game, Rodgers said, quote, "I can't say I had a spectacular game. The weather sucked, but so did some of my throws." And Vito Rizzuto says, "Who doesn't get a damn okay? The Jets' offensive line and coaching staff. Horrendous, to say the least." So enough blame to go around to multiple areas for the Jets.
I would say so. These are games where – you've heard me say this in the past. I wish the Jets were a little more exotic on defense, right? These are the games where this offense and the talent of your defense, the Seattle scheme hurts them, in my opinion, right? It's just because there's not enough trickeration. There's not enough like, I don't know where the blitz is coming. Wait, I don't know what coverage this is, right? And I talked about this a little last year with like them and the Cleveland Browns. I'd go, man, I don't know. The Jets might have more talent than the Cleveland Browns, but Jim Schwartz has all these crazy defense. It creates a schematical advantage for them to where they get turnovers and pick sixes and strip sack fumbles and do that. The Jets, for as talented as they are, they don't make enough plays on their defense. I think that's the big thing. And I wish they would draw up a few more creative ideas, and then I do think they need to throw the ball down the field. If you watch Aaron Rodgers, the only time he throws the ball down the field right now is a one-on-one back shoulder along the sideline.
Offsides.
Or that, right. But that's the only time he takes it. And they got to find more ways to throw it 20 yards down the middle of the field, 30 yards down the middle of the field. And those are things he's been reluctant to do the last few years. We'll see if he can get better at it.
All right, that was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. Dun dun da da dun dun da da da. It is a final in Baltimore. It was not close. Ravens got out to an early lead. They ended with a late lead. 35-10 is the final score. It looked like there was 1 point early in the second half where you go, they're going to do it again.
Yes.
They're going to let a big lead slip away just like this.
I mean, they're up 21-3 at half. What do they start the second half doing? 3 straight drop back passes. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You just ran it for 9 million miles in the first half. You did whatever you wanted. They're shit scared of it, and they came out throwing the football. Got behind the chains right away, got a grounding call, and then Josh Allen makes magic, and you're like, oh crap, here we go. And then they get another stop because, again, the Ravens went right back to the pass game again. 21 and you're going, oh my gosh, Josh Allen's got the ball. It's 21-10. They're going to go down and make something happen again. And that's when they did the little reverse flea flicker, and he got hit as he was throwing the ball, stripped, and then the Ravens went ahead and scored on that drive after they recovered the fumble and put the game away, and they never looked back.
Derrick Henry, 199 yards rushing. including an 87-yard touchdown run. Next Gen Stats clocked him, too. I think last podcast we were saying that he's definitely lost his step.
Right.
Derrick Henry heard that.
Yeah.
And he was like, Next Gen, watch this.
Yeah, he actually DM'd me. He said he's coming here to kick your ass.
Yeah. And I'm not faster than him. I was going to say I'm smaller than him, but I'm faster than him. That's not true.
No, you're definitely not.
21.29 miles per hour, tied for the fourth fastest speed by a ball carrier this season.
Wow, 21.29 gigawatts?
Yeah, his 8th fastest speed since 2018.
Wow, that's listen, it's impressive. To be that big, to his age, to run the way they have.
It's back to the future for him.
But this is where, like, listen, I'm proud of me and the Ravens and everybody here. Yes, Ravens, this is who you are. This is who you are, and this will pay dividends as you continue to go here. I'm going to say, just like I did last week, you run the ball like this. Don't worry. The 300-yard passing days of Lamar Jackson and 100-yard receiving days for Zay Flowers, they're right around the corner. This is 2 games in a row where you've totally dominated the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know who they play next week, but I can tell you they're going to be like, oh, crap. Like the Ravens, all they do is run the ball. We got to get up there and take some chances to stop it, or we're going to die a slow death. And they're playing the Bengals as I'm sitting here watching. And the Bengals can't stop the run. So that's going to be an issue. And so next week might be the week where they're like, Lou Anarumo is like 9 guys in the box. I got to do it, or they're going to run all over us. And that could be the week now where Lamar throws for 400 yards. But like we always say, right, be great at something. And then things will filter off of that. And I think the last 2 weeks they finally have realized, wait, we got 350-pound linemen. We have a good running scheme. We got the greatest running quarterback ever. And we got a Hall of Fame running back. Let's run the ball and then go from there. Way to go, Ravens.
What do we make of the Bills' performance in this one?
These are the teams I worry about with the Bills. I don't know. I mean, the Bills have become a little bit offensively of, hey, we're big and physical. Well, nobody's going to be over big and physical, the Ravens, right? So, and this is where I worry about the Bills. Now we go to, wait, we can't over physical them. And, oh, no, our receivers aren't the type that are just going to beat good Baltimore corners all over the field. That's what I worry about them a little bit. In these kind of games where one team can stop their run and I go, wait, can their pass game really stand on its own other than Josh Allen making magical plays? I'm talking about, can he drop back, take a 5-step, hitch throw, boom, throw it, boom, boom, throw. You know what I mean? Like rhythm throws. Are they going to be able to beat the good defenses in football like that when their run game and he can't make magic? I still have that question. Yeah. And it's the same thing on their defense. They got 225-pound middle linebackers. They have an Ed Oliver who plays D tackle who's 287 pounds. Daquan Jones is like 305, 310, but he's older. He's not as good as he used to be. So that they're compromised there. That is one area I worry about with Buffalo going forward. They're a little different this year in the fact that they want to overpower you on offense, and on defense, they kind of want to get you into a game of like, hey, we'll crowd the line of scrimmage and hopefully we'll get on a lead, and then we don't have to play run defense and we can get back and play our great zone defenses that McDermott teaches. So we'll see where it goes. But the Ravens were ready, and this was a big game for them.
Totally.
They knew they couldn't lose this or go 1-3 or they'd be in big crap.
Looks like we'll be talking about the Ravens deep into the season once again. 49ers and Bengals, we have been talking about them many times deep into the season the last few years. Weren't looking like teams potentially headed there.
Yeah.
We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll check in on those 49ers and Bengals who are getting their groove back. Back here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned, presented by Lowe's. Back on track are the 49ers. The Patriots are the perfect team to get back on track. That'll be a recurring theme, I think, throughout this 2024 season. 30-13, the final score. Let's start with a tweet here. 49ers701 says, damn okay, Fred Warner. I know it's a lacking Patriots but the way he's been playing this year is Defensive Player of the Year worthy. Had that takeaway and the touchdown, right?
Yeah.
He scored there. 6 sacks for the 49ers, 3 takeaways. I can tell he is a superstar because every time we talk to these defensive players in the Big Ten, the linebackers, you go, who's a guy that you model your game? Every single linebacker says Fred Warner.
Fred Warner. He's the best middle linebacker in the game. And I would agree with the statement so far, right? We've had some individual game performances that might have been better than Fred Warner at that week, but when you put 4 games together, Fred Warner was incredible against the Jets. He made some incredible plays against the Minnesota Vikings. We saw what he did today. And, okay, the Rams game, I don't have any that, like, pop off, but I know he played really well either way. Yeah, he is in Defensive Player of the Year category. There's no doubt about that. I think the other thing off of this.
Which, hold on, while you're saying,
go ahead.
Is the music still going on in the background?
I do hear the music too. I do.
So
it's kind of good background music.
All right, now Pete's faded it down.
Yeah. Pete
Did
forgot.
you do that on purpose,
Pete? You leave Pete in front of all the controls in the control room, they're not all going to get worked the right way.
I was kind of getting into it, but I was like, wait, maybe we can stop it.
Was just like after hours, the late night, dark, late night, background music.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
Pete fell asleep.
Going back to the 49ers, I mean, Jordan Mason is damn good. Brock Purdy is, I think, considerably better than last year. I do. Brock Purdy is making plays this year and throws this year where I go, they're not all Shanahan specials. We talked a little bit. Brock Purdy has tightened up his motion. It's not nearly as floppy and long as it used to be. He's definitely worked on that. And I think it's serving him well. I think he's actually a more accurate passer, let alone the ball's getting to receivers just a tick quicker now for them to run and make plays after it. But I thought he was really good. Big passes to set up the first field goals. Stevenson fumbled early on, but the Patriots defense kept him in it, held him to a field goal. Then the Fred Warner interception happened, and then the dam broke because then Purdy started throwing bombs all over the field, and George Kittle became part of the situation. Now, they fumbled the opening kickoff, and you went, man, are they going to let the Patriots back in this? But no, they squashed that right away. He hit Debo in the deep bomb, and they never looked back and dominated throughout the end.
How about the catch from George Kittle in the corner of the end zone over 3 Patriots defenders? We have a still picture that illustrates that moment.
Incredible.
When I saw it in real time, I was like, there's no way he got a foot down or 2, but he got 1 foot down, then he got a hand and a elbow
Other body
down.
parts, right. Other body parts equal 2 feet. But, yes, and again, that's what I was just speaking of. The throw was perfect.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was the most perfect read, right? But he was like, wait, I got a player here that's really damn good. He's got a step here. Yeah, it's tight, but I think I can put it right where I need to. And again, those are things that Purdy has not always thrived in. I know he's pretty accurate. I get that. But it's not accurate with down-the-field power throws. And I've seen more of that. And that's what's encouraging there for the 49ers. And I think, overall, too, with the 49ers, with the fact that there's no Hargrave and all that, the way they played run defense against a pretty good offensive line that likes to run the football, that was encouraging. But we'll see. Well, as you said, the Patriots are not exactly the greatest test in the world to see how good you are. They're more of a get-back-on-track type of team.
As are the Carolina Panthers, although they tried to show different last week. The Cincinnati Bengals do get a win for the first time this year, 34-24. The final score, they scored touchdowns on 4 consecutive drives between the first and third quarters. They tried to tackle Jamar Chase with a shoulder and a hand.
Might have been the play of the day, right? The in-cut. I mean, he took one big shot, bounced off it, turned it on. Somebody else had him wrapped up. He ran through it, turned him on, ran down the sideline for, a 63-yard touchdown. I think that was the most exciting pass play of the day, definitely.
It kind of was one of those plays where it's like, dang, he's got his mojo working now, and you saw him and Burrow celebrating together. Does it feel like this was exactly what the doctor ordered, something the Bengals needed?
They definitely needed it. We know that.
It was
I
close,
don't have questions about their offense.
Yeah.
Their offense, I think, has got it going. Hey, Chase Brown is real at running back. That's good. We saw Higgins have a big effect in the football game. The offense wasn't the problem last week. The defense is a problem. It's a problem. And this game's a little misleading. I mean, the Panthers went right down the field on the first drive and got stopped on 4th and goal inside the 3-yard line. Nothing there. Then they were backed up and Dalton threw an interception, right? So right off the bat, there was advantages given to the Bengals, is what I'm saying. Their first touchdown was a 16-yard drive. They're up 7-0. Boom, just like that. So that was big. But my point is that even with some of those advantages, there we were sitting there, and there's late in the second quarter, Carolina's running the ball and throwing to Xavier Legette, and they're driving. You're going, holy crap, it's 14-14. Damn, the Bengals defense is that bad. But Burrow makes an awesome drive before the half to go up 21-14, and then they got the ball to start the second half, which was big to give them the 2-touchdown lead. And, again, there was some positive plays there by the Carolina Panthers. But, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is I'm still scared of Cincinnati's defense. I think it's a really big issue for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Carolina Panthers, with Andy Dalton now, have actually looked quite competent, and even better than that. 30 points per game in the 2 games so far. Now it was just 6.5 points per game in the 2 games with Bryce Young. Nathan Drake, PS6, says, how about Dave Canales for the job he is doing in Carolina? That roster is bleak, and he has that group improving every week and playing very competitive football after removing Bryce. Now, we did think the talent on the roster was better than it was last year. Right. I don't know if we can give him total credit, because he was also the one that did start Bryce. And, of course, you're probably not going to sit the number 1 pick week 1 or week 2, but that did prove to be the wrong decision.
Yeah, it's definitely the wrong. There's no doubt that was the wrong decision. Again, I tried to allude to the things that I had heard down there. Like I told you, I was not trying to be a jerk or anything like that. I tried to allude to that on a few other podcasts, right, that we talked about. Like, people down there, Andy Dalton was clearly the better quarterback all through OTAs and training camp, right? So that was down there. And yeah, it's hard when he's the number 1 pick and you made all those, trades to get to be the number 1 pick. Yeah, they're invested in him.
You're brought in to be the guy that gets him to play like the number 1 pick.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So there was no talk of that. But they can protect the passer. In fact, they're one of the best pass-protecting offensive lines in football, if you can believe that. And that's what I worry about with the Bengals is we talked about this with Washington last week. The Bengals can't get to the quarterback unless they blitz. They can't. Trey Hendrickson's the only guy that every now and then gets there. Yeah. But they are hurting on that D line, and that worries me. But yeah, the Panthers put up a valiant effort. Had the turnover early, like we said. They had the fake punt where the guy dropped it, where you thought, ooh, maybe they can change the momentum a little bit. So that didn't work out, and they got behind there a little bit. They still fought back and made it competitive, but it's still not as good as the Bengals. Not quite yet.
Bears got a win, 24-18 over the Rams. They had 3 offensive touchdowns. That matches their output in the first 3 games combined. And DeAndre Swift, a guy who you talked about a little bit, I think, on Wednesday, and you put the target on him. You go, I don't think he's as explosive or as fast. He goes, I can show you.
Yeah, he showed it today.
165 scrimmage yards today and a touchdown.
Definitely. The big thing with the Bears is that they didn't have to. Caleb Williams didn't have to throw it 50 times. They actually could run the ball a little bit. They could move the chains a little bit and control the football. And it was a favorable matchup. It was the beat-up Rams with I don't know who playing receiver and what's his name playing the other receiver. I mean, yeah, I know that I'm being funny, right? But banged up offensive line. This Bears defense is still good. I mean, C.J. Stroud, asked him 2 weeks ago. He was like, what, I'm still in the game here with the Bears late in the fourth quarter, right? They're good. This was another one of the games where it felt like the team that played better lost. I will say that. I mean, Stafford, bad interception in the red zone to start the game. He got strip sacked by Montez Sweat, right? That led to points. The Bears got a PI, and then they got the touchdown the next play after that. The Rams missed a 43-yard field goal. So it felt like more of a Rams mistake type of day, but there was encouraging things about the Bears and what they did. And the fact that he did have some time to throw the ball today and that they could run the ball to a degree is a positive start. But I'm still worried about their offense in general. Again, the receivers aren't getting the ball. Today it was DeAndre Swift underneath, screen game, all of that. Again, there's a look to how you're supposed to win a game. And I'm happy they won it, but their 2 victories have felt a little bit like, the Titans and the Rams kind of messed up rather than you just dominated and took control of the game and won it, right? And I don't mean to be a jerk. I'm rooting for the Bears and Caleb Williams, certainly, but I certainly still have my questions, especially on that offensive side of the ball.
And I feel like the expectations for the Bears got a little wild in the preseason. Yeah. I feel like in a first year of a rookie quarterback, if you can be around 500 in the playoff conversation throughout most of the season, it seems like they might be able to do that. Yeah, I think that's probably a victory for them, although everyone was putting them in the postseason because of some of the talent they had there. Matthew Stafford, as a lover of Matthew Stafford, just seeing him get beat up in that game, I was like, I hope he retires, tomorrow. You've had a great career, and now he did pass Eli Manning for 10th place all-time in career passing yards.
Wow. Well, yeah, he's special. He's an all-time great, in my opinion. He is. I mean, Matthew Stafford's he's a Hall of Famer, I think, in my opinion.
I agree.
He is. He's a special player. He's tough as hell. He's got one of the greatest arms in history, and they'll continue to fight. We know that with the Rams, and they'll be a pain in the butt for whoever they play as long as Stafford's playing quarterback.
One more game to talk about on this Sunday, and for that, it is time for Home Team Help, presented by our friends there at Lowe's. This is Raiders beating the Browns by 4, 20-16. The Home Team Help is when your main guy is down, everyone else got to step up. So Max Crosby, his first career missed game, had that ankle injury. You know he wanted to go, but the rest of the guys channeled that energy. And here it is. The Raiders defense, they helped out. 3 sacks, 11 quarterback hits in the game. You got Charles Snowden there with 3 quarterback hits and a sack. Wilkins had 3 quarterback hits. Our guy Tyree Wilson, who we liked coming out in the draft, 2 quarterback hits. They were all over Deshaun Watson this game.
All over it. It's the pressure's just on the Browns defense every week. I mean, again, they scored a touchdown in this one.
Yeah.
That was like, oh wait, they might win it. It felt like last year. Like, can their defense win the game for them again? Now, again, that's what's different than this year from last year. Is the defense is not making those plays. I mean, they put everybody on notice last year with how they played. So teams are playing the Browns now, and they're like, hey, their offense stinks. Just don't do anything crazy. You might get hit a lot as a quarterback, but don't fumble it. If you feel like the pocket's collapsing, just go down, right? I mean, so teams are playing it close to the vest, but it's the right way. And why is it the right way? Because Cleveland's offense sucks. And Deshaun Watson couldn't be more average. And I don't know if he knows where blitzes are coming, protection, anything. So that's where it's concerning for them going forward. I mean, they're more talented than the Raiders. They definitely are. But the Raiders are really coached well on defense, and they squashed, Cleveland's offense for the most part of the day, other than like 2 or 3 plays, really. It was like one good run by Jerome Ford, one good pass to Jerry Jeudy, and that was like the day for them. So
what happened on that Amari Cooper long play?
The Amari Cooper long play, he scrambled to the right, and I don't know what offensive lineman it was, but they were blocking Christian Wilkins, and he clearly held him. Again, was he going to get there to maybe make the play? I don't know about that. It would have been like, he might have got there as Watson was throwing it and hit him. I don't know how much it would have affected it because Amari Cooper was wide open, right? But yeah, that was a big moment in the football game. But the other part is, and we've seen this a little bit. You can run on Cleveland. And they ran the ball. I mean, the Raiders ran the ball on them today.
152 rush yards for them in this game. They had 153 in their first 3 games combined.
So they looked at it and went, let's make the game ugly. Let's play a defensive ugly game. We think we could beat the Browns in that style of football. And if there's a weakness to the Browns, it's the D tackle position. That's what it is. So, hey, let's just run it right up the middle and try to stress them out that way. They were willing to play the ugly football game today. It wasn't pretty. They got it done. And I don't know what Cleveland does. I don't know. He's getting a free pass at quarterback. Let's just say it like it is. Again, I know he's got some things that went on in his life, and it's been tough, and he missed years of football, whatever. But I will be the first one to sit here to tell you, did I think we'd still be sitting here right now, this far into the Cleveland experiment, that we'd still be going, he is not turned the corner the slightest. He gives me no hope that it's going to turn around. And I think if it was any other situation in football, they'd be going, I think we need to bench him. But they're not going to do that because they gave him the dumbest contract in the history of football. They didn't offer Joe Flacco to come back because they didn't want to deal with that headache. And they're going to continue to stick with this because they kind of made this bed and they realize it's going to be egg in their face if it doesn't work out.
Not great in Cleveland right now. And that was Lowe's Home Team Help. Those are every single one of the Sunday games. We talked about it all. People said we couldn't do it. We've done it again. We don't want to forget. We did save a little time for this.
Yeah.
The Cowboys beating the Giants. Thrilling game.
I know.
20-15, the final score.
Yep.
A longtime homie, Corey Joskowitz, wants to chime in on this one.
Yep.
He goes, damn okay. How about damn shame? Chris, like you, I've been on the be patient with DJ bandwagon, but there were an egregious amount of yards left on the field. Given his contract guarantees, it might be time. Now, I think, I didn't see every play of this game, but it seemed like he was not getting a whole lot of help from his receiver. Seems like there were some catchable balls for some big plays late in the game especially. You can start. I just want to tell where were you? What was the environment like?
Right.
Take me through the ups and downs of your experience.
It was a great night. We got there a little later than I wanted, right? I wanted to tailgate a little bit more, right? And my kids were getting antsy, and I was like, wait, kids, Dad's got to get drunk and high first before we go in the game. So hold on a second.
It's going to be more expensive if we do it in there.
Yeah, exactly. So hold on, we got to hang out, but we had so much fun. And I'm at a point in my life where my kids understand it and they enjoy the energy of all of it, right? So that was really cool. They saw like a million Phil Simms jerseys, which they got a kick out of, right? They were like, I can't believe this many people still like Papa. Oh, So that was really great. It really was. We had so much fun in the stadium. It was electric early on, right? It's the Cowboys. There's a lot of Cowboy fans there. I had a great night. I really did. Can't say enough about it. And with it being the Cowboys, there was a lot of Longhorns there, let alone it's the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, if I went up to walk up the aisle and had to get a drink or whatever and wanted to do that, it was going to take me about 7 or 8 minutes to get up the aisle. It was always, hey, what's up? Hey, can we take a picture? Can we take a selfie? Hey, I'm a Longhorn. Always, right? So it was really cool to feel the love of the Giants fans. It was a good – Dallas is better than us, but barely. And – I kind of echo my man Corey Joskowitz's thoughts to a degree. I'm not ready to give up on Daniel Jones yet, right? I'm certainly not. But, there's being there in person and watching him and Dak Prescott, there's definitely a difference, okay? I'll say that. And there was a handful of plays or throws where I'd go, Dak Prescott's going to hit that and put our team in a bind, right? And, Daniel had probably, I'm going to say 3 or 4 throws where you just go, that could have really put pressure on Dallas and changed the outlook of the football game. Mm-hmm. And that was the disappointing thing. It was. I thought they'd be able to run the ball on them a little bit better. That's for sure. They moved the ball consistently.
They definitely tried to run the ball.
I know.
They thought they could too.
They moved the ball consistently, but they can never make the big play to get in the end zone. Malik Neighbors is amazing, and seeing him in person or on TV, it's amazing. He is a different animal, right? He really is. Twitchy and explosive as hell. But, what I feel bad about is, I'm just not sure if, for $40 million, the franchise going forward, can he be the guy that energizes the team and gets us excited and all that? That's where I feel like the luster is worn off and people are ready for that next step, and he hasn't done that, and I understand that. Yeah. And if he doesn't improve things here in a hurry, this will be his last year as a quarterback, because they're good enough now to where I can go, wait, he's under pressure, but it's not where it was where I've defended him and been like, he can't even look at the first guy, right? And I know the other night they weren't, but for the most part, they've been able to run respectably, right? So it's not all just wow, the team's horrible, and now it makes Daniel Jones look horrible. Not that he was bad the other night, but he wasn't good.
What was it like? What was it, the third to last play or whatever, where he just threw it up on the left sideline and the receiver was actually there behind the defender? And
he had about 3 throws like that for the night where you go, he's got him beat. Throw it out there, and
you're watching that. You see the receiver kind of getting a little separation.
We're all going. I'm standing up in the seat going, he's got him. Right? And I get all the people around me because they're listening to me now because I'm calling out plays and whatever else. Yeah. And they're like, and I was, So, there was a few moments like that in the football game where you felt like he could have made a play to kind of turn the tides of momentum and really put Dallas under the gun as far as pressure is concerned, and couldn't quite do that.
All right, so all in all, a good time.
Great
just
time.
Ended with an L, but that's okay.
It's all right. It was a great experience. It was a lot of fun. I still don't like MetLife Stadium the way it's constructed. It's too far from the field. It's not loud enough. It's very easy to play there. If you're the opposing quarterback, the fact that Dallas doesn't have to go to silent count or do anything, it just says it all. Yeah, says it all.
And Pete, by the way, was watching from home because the babysitter fell through, and can't take those young kids there with the drunk Chris Sims in the stands.
You don't
dangerous.
Want that. It is
too
dangerous.
Volatile. But
I was going to say something else about this game, but I forgot it.
Yeah,
so
we'll save it for
later.
some other year,
some other time.
So here we go. We got 2 more games on Monday. Very quickly here: Titans at Dolphins, and then Seahawks at Lions. You picked the Dolphins to win by 3 on your Thursday picks pod. You picked my Detroit Lions to win by 7 in a shootout. Are you still confident in your selections?
I am. I am confident. Tyler Huntley at quarterback with the Dolphins. I just don't trust Will Levis, and that's what I wanted to say. Will Levis and Daniel Jones see the same quarterback coach, and I got problems with how they throw the ball.
Uh-oh.
They do the whole hip thing, and it's like, no, there's an arm in the rest of the body. The hip doesn't throw the ball. They would just want to, I turned my hips. That's how I throw the ball. But they never get through the ball. Their back leg never gets through the ball. And that's why balls end up, he's open. Oh, it was 5 yards short. So I don't agree with how they throw the ball. That's what I wanted to hit, and I'm sorry about that. But, yes, I'm going with the Dolphins. I'm going to go with their team because I don't trust Will Levis. I don't feel totally comfortable about that. But, yeah, I am going to the shootout in the other one.
That's the way it's been the last couple of years.
I know. So I kind of ride with that again. But it is a little different with the Mike McDonald defense. We'll see where it goes. They're explosive on offense, like legit this year. So that's kind of where I went. But we'll see. But I'm certainly comfortable with your Lions winning that football game.
I will be watching that up in the bedroom. We got a TV there. I'll turn the lights down. The kids will be sleeping, so
Good.
I'll have to keep it down, but I'll have a glass of Woodford Reserve, who was once a sponsor on this podcast. Once a sponsor, always a sponsor.
Oh, always.
In my mind, although
yes.
keep giving us money, though. Don't go away, but I do
We like
still
Lowe's
drink
better,
that.
but sure.
Exactly. Now we prefer them over everything else. DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the app and use the promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. All right. You are the man once again, Ahmed Fareed.
Chris, you are the man.
A great friend, a great worker for NBC.
I always show up.
You always do show up.
Sometimes with a different drink than other days.
Yeah.
But
Well, we'll keep working on
whatever
it that
gets
way.
me through.
Hey, good quality over quantity. All right, everybody. You know where to find us. We'll be back Wednesday, Pick Six Podcast. Thursday with Florio, Picks Pod. We got all these things coming. Come on. Get at me on social media. Any questions you want to know? Any themes about your team you're looking at? You want me to deep dive? Get into that on Wednesday? Please, you know where to find us. Get at me on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. All right, everybody be good. Enjoy the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. We'll see you Wednesday. Ahmed, you're the man. Thank you to Lowe's as always. Peace out, homies. Clap it up.
clap it up. Dot.
Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Sims Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.